For this activity, we will complete Activity 2.3 Statistical Analysis using GeoGebra. For this tutorial, we are going to use the data seen on the screen. For homework, you'll be given a second set of data which you will input into GeoGebra to calculate your mean, median, upper and lower quartiles, along with your box and whisker plot. So the data you see on the screen shows your 10 students, whether they are an adult or student, the time it took them in seconds to complete their puzzle cube for trial 1, the second time for trial 2, and then a third time, which would be trial 3. All of your data is listed in seconds. You will notice that the trend that usually by the time they get to time 3, it takes the student or adult less time to complete the puzzle. So we are going to take this information and input it into GeoGebra. So what we'll look at for this tutorial is once we open up GeoGebra, we will want to go ahead to View and select Spreadsheet. From here, you can see that we have an algebra window, the graphics window, along with our spreadsheet. We only need our spreadsheet for this activity, so we can close out the graphics and algebra window. From here, you have a document that looks like an Excel spreadsheet. It operates very similar, but there are a few minor changes that you will have to take notice as you go through. The first step after opening GeoGebra and opening up your spreadsheet is to enter in the header row. The header row should consist of the name, the student or adult, the time 1 in seconds, time 2 in seconds, and time 3 in seconds, like shown on the data sheet before. So once you input that data, you can expand each column to get a better view of what each column looks like. If you would like, you can also format each row by selecting the row, changing the color. You can also center. You can make it bold and add grid lines if you would like to. For this, I'll select just our categories and change the background color. From here, what we'll want to look at is adding the name of our students or adults. So going down in our column A under name, we will add the 10 students or adults. From there, we will calculate whether they are a student or adult. And then we'll want to add our trial 1 times. Make sure that these are in seconds and not minutes and seconds. We'll add time 2. And finally, we'll add time 3. From here, I like to do a little formatting with my spreadsheet just to make the data stand out a little bit. So I'm going to select column B through E and center that data. And then from there, I'm going to go through and select every other row and change that background color. Maybe make it a light gray. And then I'm going to select A1 through E11. And we are going to go and add some grid lines to make that data stand out. The next part of this is actually using that data to calculate your mean, median, upper, and lower quartiles. So what we'll go ahead and add next, under our student or adult tab, we're going to go ahead and type in mean. We're going to add quartile 1. But notice if you type in Q1, you're going to get a question mark. You're going to want to make sure for this one, you type out the word quartile 1, add your median, and your quartile 3. So we are trying to figure out our mean, median, and what is our basically our upper and lower quartiles. From here, we'll have our data selected and analyzed using either the 1 or 2 variable analysis tool. So we'll add a little border to that as well. Now the next step of this is to calculate the mean for time 1, time 2, and time 3. We can do that by selecting all of the data in time 1. Make sure you exclude the header row that says time 1. and click on the summation tool up at the top. That little drop down will then allow you to select your mean. Here you will see now that you have a mean of 464 and 2/10 of a second. We'll repeat that data for time 2, selecting your mean, and time 3. Here we have our mean for the first time trial of 464 and 2/10 seconds. You'll notice that our second time trial got a little bit better at 452 and 8/10 of a second, and then trial time 3, 224 and a half seconds. From there, we're going to want to go ahead and calculate what our upper and lower quartile is along with our mean. For this data, what we are going to want to do is we are going to want to select time 1. Make sure you exclude your header row and your mean when doing this. The next step is we are going to go up to our toolbar and select the one variable analysis tool. Once you select the one variable analysis tool, you should see this one variable analysis with your data set C2 through C11, and we want to analyze that data. When you select Analyze, you will get a little data analysis worksheet that pops up. Now, there may be a possibility that when your histogram pops up, you do not actually see the data. By scrolling up here to show your statistics and clicking on that, that is now going to give you your data. So you can see our mean matches the mean in our data. And here we have quartile 1, our median, and quartile 3. And you can simply highlight those and copy and paste them directly into your spreadsheet. Now we're going to do the same thing for time trial 2. So we'll go and select time trial 2, one variable analysis, analyze, and grab our data. I always like to make sure we check the median or the mean first to make sure it matches. It does. So we'll select quartile 1, median, and your quartile 3, and paste that data. And one more time. We'll grab time trial 3, analyze that data, check the mean, and from there we can grab our quartile 1, median, and quartile 3 and paste that data in. From there, you can go and format your spreadsheet a little bit if you would like. You can go ahead and center them up. You could even make them bold if you would like to make them stand out a little bit. Maybe you want your data to look a little bit nicer. You can go ahead and change the background color. And you could even go ahead and, if you wanted to, make the background black. And by right-clicking on those cells, you can go to Object Properties. And from within your Object Properties, you can find the color and make that white. And that will make your data stand out a little bit better. So the last part of this is to create your box and whisker plot. Now that we have our mean, our upper and lower quartiles, and our median, we want to see that as a visual representation using the box and whisker plot. So in order to do that, we are going to go ahead and select time 1 again, exclude all of your data at the bottom, and select your one variable analysis. This time, however, we're going to go ahead and select multiple variable analysis. By doing that, you're going to get this little data source. We see that we have all of our data from C2 through C11. But what we want to do is add time 2. We do that by selecting the plus sign. That will give us another data column. We select the data we want. And by clicking on the hand, that will grab and pull that data in. We'll add the plus sign again to add time trial 3. Select the column, click on your hand, and now you have your data brought into your data source. You may click Analyze. From here, you have your box and whisker plot that will analyze your data. This is your video tutorial on using a spreadsheet for statistical analysis using GeoGebra.